Hello, everybody. Welcome to North Central Weather Center. Can everybody hear me here this afternoon? The first time I've been live here on this new channel, so bear with me here. All right. Yeah, we got some severe weather to talk about here across the Southern Great Lakes region today, and this is capable of producing some damaging winds, large hail, and a few tornadoes along the way as well. So here, let me get everything set up here real quick before I get going. And we'll get going on this here in just a moment. Appreciate everybody joining. If you have not liked the live stream, be sure to like it because the more likes we get, the more people who join. So it really is a good thing here on the live streams. So make sure to press that thumbs up button down below. Really helps out tremendously with all that stuff. So thank you. All right. I'm just trying to get this posted to Twitter so we get more people on here to warn them about the severe weather. Right now I have the radar in motion, so hang tight there, folks. I'm working on it. Again, this is the first time I've been live on this channel, and we're going to be going live for just severe weather events, mainly enhanced risks or higher on this channel. So, how's everybody doing here this afternoon? It's 1:09 Central Time. Hope everybody's having a great afternoon there. It's Wednesday today. Again, I'm sorry, folks. I'm trying to get this all on Twitter here, so I appreciate your patience with me. As you well know, it does take some time to do this real quick, but I am just about ready, so give me one more minute or two. And also, if you follow me on Twitter and you're watching the live stream right now, make sure to go like that tweet that I just posted about the live stream. I appreciate it. Really helps out tremendously as well. So thank you to all of everybody who watches this stream. Yeah, welcome again to North Central Weather Center. This is my new channel I just started. I am also the owner of Weather on the Go, so that's my main channel. We did have a nice video breakdown of the weather pattern of 7 days out on that channel as well. So lots of great work. Tim Key, thanks for joining. Linda Loper, it's warm and wet in northern lower Michigan. Yeah, they've had some rain, and up here in northern lower Michigan, up near the Traverse City area, they did see some rain here. Putting the radar in motion, there is some rainfall up there in the Traverse City area right now. So if you live up there, right along I-75, yeah, we're seeing some rain showers as well. Kathy says, do you expect redevelopment in northern Illinois this afternoon? I do not. I don't see any storm development this afternoon. It's going to be hot and it's going to be mostly dry there in northern Illinois. Putting the new radar scan, there is a little bit of some, trying to pop up a couple showers in northeast Illinois into McHenry County up there toward Kenosha, Wisconsin, and far southeast Wisconsin there. Other than that, I do not see anything severe out of these storms in southern Wisconsin or northern Illinois this afternoon. So let's get in here to the severe thunderstorm warning. We have pretty nice line of storms here west of Ann Arbor from Lansing all the way down to Auburn here into northeastern Indiana. And this is marching to the east. As I put it in motion here, you can see a nice swath of rain, some gusty winds along the way as well. And currently we have a severe thunderstorm warning, and it's only warned for 60-mile-per-hour winds for the next 15 minutes. So if you live in Jonesville, Hillsdale, we're seeing some gusty winds to 60 mile per hour here over the next few minutes through the next 15 minutes in your area as the gust front does move through. Again, once again, appreciate everybody joining. Thank you so much for joining. Whenever we have an enhanced risk or higher, so an enhanced, a moderate, or high risk of severe weather, I will be sure to be live on here for the north central United States. Now, again, this is for the north central states. So if there's an enhanced, moderate, or high risk in the deep south, I will not be covering it on this channel. That would be more for my Weather on the Go channel. That would be my main channel. Thanks for joining Rain Mavs. Again, make sure everybody joining, like the live stream down below. We're up to 10 likes, so I appreciate that. And make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you're not subscribed yet, join the team here in North Central Weather Center. I appreciate that. Yeah, and all these storms that are going to be moving through, these are all moving across southern and central lower Michigan. So if anything severe I see over the next few hours will be from this and really this area here. So anywhere I boxed in with white there, that's where I expect the threat for severe weather to be the greatest over the next couple of hours. So if you live in Ann Arbor, Detroit, Toledo, Bowling Green, there into northwestern Ohio, I expect the chance at least for some gusty winds up to 60 miles per hour, perhaps 65 miles per hour if these storms get strong enough. Large hail of quarter to $half size, as well as a few tornadoes are still possible today. And this is just the main appetizer. So let's go to the weather models real quick and let's look at what we can expect to see as we go through the rest of this afternoon. So let's transition from the main radar here over to our weather models to our HRRR. So this is a great weather model, great tool to show you like what the radar could look like later on today. It's not a perfect science by any means, but it gives us a general idea of what could happen as we go into the afternoon, what the environment is like. So looking right now, we have some storms pushing through portions of southern lower Michigan in towards here. Actually, let me get a better model up, but let's go back to the 12Z because the 18Z doesn't come out till next hour. So let's go back to the 12Z HRRR here just a few hours ago. Not much of a difference here. All right, so you can see that moving through, and there's a 1-2 punch today. So just because you're seeing that line of storms now across southern lower Michigan, northeast Indiana, northwest Ohio, that's the appetizer. That'll move on through. We'll have a little break, and then here we go again. Now, there was a question about northern Illinois seeing any storms. This model has a couple isolated storms popping up in northern Illinois, but they're going to be fighting that ridge axis. So I don't really see these becoming severe. Now, if they do, large hail would be the main mode of severe weather here. So this would be something to keep an eye on if you live there in northern Illinois. So make sure to know about that. This would be about 7 o'clock here this evening. So we got a nice MCS, as we call it, mesoscale convective system across portions of southern lower Michigan. This will be pushing as almost a bow echo across the Detroit region. This is where we could start to see more of that enhanced risk category being realized by late this afternoon and early this evening. That's where we expect to see the leading edge of these storms producing some very gusty winds, perhaps up to around 70 miles per hour from Detroit, Sterling Heights, Toledo, all the way down to Fort Wayne, Indiana. Be watching out for that, and then this will start to move to the south and east along an instability gradient and weaken in intensity. You see how it kind of gets a little weaker, broader, just turns into a heavy rain event mostly for portions of northern and northwestern Ohio there, from Toledo down to Mansfield, Cleveland. Almost to Columbus, though, we have some thunderstorms. This is 10 o'clock this evening, and then as you go later on, as it pushes toward Erie, Pennsylvania, Cleveland, Ohio, Akron, Pittsburgh, and Columbus, those areas will be seeing a weaker system as we go into the overnights. Because naturally, going into the overnight hours, that's when you usually see less of severe weather because the instability starts to drop off because the sunshine starts to, 1 in the morning, you're not seeing sunshine. So the energy starts to wane by that time, and that's what we're seeing. So that is currently what we're seeing for portions of the southern Great Lakes today. So let's actually let's go back and let's look at the categories for severe weather today and what you can expect again. I know we just went over it. Here is the enhanced risk. So there you go. That's where we expect the most severity of most extreme storms today. Detroit, Toledo, back to Fort Wayne, South Bend there in Indiana, Kalamazoo, Lansing, and Flint, Michigan. And same could be said up toward Toronto. Could have some gustier thunderstorms up there as well. And then as these drop southeast overnight, you see how it goes from a yellow to a green. That's a level 2 out of 5 in the yellow. That's a slight risk. And then in the dark green, that's a level 1 out of 5, a marginal risk. That's down toward Chillicothe, Cincinnati, Hamilton there, Indianapolis, Bloomington, Canton, Erie, Pennsylvania. You're kind of on the line there. Buffalo, just west of Rochester, New York. Not quite to Pittsburgh. You see Pittsburgh's in that light green. That's just a general garden variety thunderstorm category there. That's level 0 out of 5. So we're not really seeing any severe weather for Pittsburgh. As it comes in, they're going to be on a weakening trend, and we're going to see more of just those heavy downpours, some frequent lightning, and that's about it for the Pittsburgh region. And the storms won't really reach the Pittsburgh area until after midnight. So we're talking 1, 2, 3, even 4 o'clock in the morning, the wee hours of the morning on Thursday. So that's what we see currently. Let's look right now at the tornado risk for today, because this is one of the bigger, or at least higher end risks that we're keeping an eye on. We have a 5% chance of tornadoes. Again, still with the first round with the severe weather moving through across southeastern lower Michigan, but a second round is probably going to be the most potent during peak heating. That's with the MCS moving out of lower Michigan into northern Indiana and northwest Ohio. We have a 5% shading for tornadoes there, and that does include portions of Detroit, Flint, Lansing, Kalamazoo, and near the Grand Rapids area there in Michigan, South Bend and Fort Wayne, Indiana, and then Toledo, Ohio, and west of Cleveland. Those are the areas in most concern for some tornadoes today. Now, you do see the dark green outside of that. Yeah, in Cook County there in Chicago, down to Joliet, and getting into portions of Gary, Indiana, we could start to see some more spin-up tornadoes. Could be as far south as the northern suburbs of Indianapolis, the northwest side there of Columbus, and then getting through the Akron, Cleveland region, Erie, Pennsylvania. There's a 2% shading for tornadoes today. So that's what we're seeing for the tornado risk. Looking at the damaging wind risk here today, we have that up to a 30% in the enhanced risk zone. There's a 30% chance, or at least a 30% coverage of us could be seeing damaging wind gusts over 60 miles per hour, perhaps up to 70 miles per hour today across southern lower Michigan, northeastern Indiana, and into northwest Ohio. And then looking at the hail risk, the final risk here, yeah, the threat is a little bit lower, but still could be seeing some quarter to $half size hail there from Chicago to Milwaukee and eastward towards Lansing, Flint, Kalamazoo, Detroit, Toledo, Fort Wayne, South Bend, and even near the Muncie and Lafayette, Indiana regions as well. So, anybody have any questions about the severe weather threat today? Otherwise, we're going to move on to our Thursday severe weather threat, because we have more severe weather looming for our Thursday tomorrow across our north central locales. So, we have more severe weather as we go upstream. Here, let me get rid of this because it's hard to see where this. There we go. All right, so right now we see a marginal risk covering a lot of our northern hometowns here across North Central Weather Center. You can see the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul region there, Sioux Falls, Lincoln, back to Cheyenne, just east of Denver, Des Moines, Madison, La Crosse, getting up to Green Bay there, Duluth, Minnesota. Those are the areas impacted for tomorrow's severe weather threat. And oh, did I mention Rapid City, South Dakota? So a very large real estate of a marginal risk for severe weather tomorrow. Parts of this region could get upgraded to a slight risk. And if I were to guess here, before I do that, let's go to the weather model and see what they are showing for tomorrow. Let's look at the NAM 3KM here. Let's look at this. This is 12Z, so that's perfect. All right, so let's go through the day today. You can see all those storms will be moving off to the east here once it loads. There we go. We got those storms moving off to the east. We got more storms firing up back here today as well. Some isolated supercells from the Dakotas down to Nebraska and eastern Colorado. Mainly large hail producers here, possibly some damaging winds or isolated tornado, but the tornado threat is overwhelmingly low across these areas out west today. This is through this evening. And then we're talking about Thursday's risk here. As we go into Thursday morning, there could be some remnant debris from maybe cloud cover, some lighter showers, or an isolated thunderstorm or two. St. Cloud, Duluth, Minneapolis, Rochester, Minnesota, just around central Minnesota tomorrow morning about 5 a.m. So if you're waking up for work or anything like that, getting ready to head out the door there for your Thursday morning, 5 a.m., we could be talking about potentially some thunderstorms rumbling through central Minnesota. Those are likely going to be on a weakening trend, so they're not going to be severe. And then as we go through the morning hours, you see pretty quiet. We have a pretty quiet weather pattern through much of the morning hours. The NAM 3 km doesn't get too excited and even into the afternoon. But here comes our next short wave across the northern Rockies and northern plains. And by the time we get in towards the evening hours, this is 6, 7 o'clock tomorrow evening, there's more supercells developing here across eastern Minnesota, back into portions of northwest Iowa and the eastern Dakotas here, and this could cluster up into an MCS around the Twin Cities region. So we could be starting to see more storm action up here. And so right now, with what I was saying earlier, if I had to guess where a slight risk would be introduced, and I'll actually do this in yellow, it would probably be in this area up in here. So this would be the area of concern for a slight risk as we go into the day on Thursday. So that's my best guess as of now as what the Storm Prediction Center would do if an upgrade to a slight risk is warranted for tomorrow. Otherwise, we'll have that broad brushed marginal risk here in the dark green. That's a 1 out of 5. But this is the area of concern for tomorrow of a slight risk upgrade. This would include St. Cloud, Minneapolis, Rochester, back to Sioux Falls, and just south of Duluth, probably there in Minnesota. So that would be the area of concern. Again, just joining me, thank you so much for your support. This is my first live stream on my new channel, North Central Weather Center. And if you want to show support, press the thumbs up button down below the live stream to get more people on the live. And it's very important to do that. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're new as well and you live in the northern plains, the central plains, the Midwest, whether it's the upper Midwest, the lower Midwest, anywhere in the Great Lakes region, or even the Ohio Valley, including Kentucky. Make sure to subscribe to the channel because we cover it all on here for those areas, the north central states. And you can also share this live stream while I'm live here for the next little bit on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Thank you so much for that to get more people here on the live stream. But that's what we see. This is going into 1 a.m. on Friday morning. So this is Friday morning at 1 o'clock in the morning. And again, this will start to try and move southeast because the axis of the heat here, and let me kind of draw, I'm going to get a little bit nerdy on you guys here. So let me look real quick. I'm going to go in red with this, and you can see the ridge is kind of like this here as we go into the day on Friday morning. So there's obviously the high pressure is further to the south and west toward the Four Corners region, so like down in this region here with the high pressure. But we're going to have the flow, though. The flow in the jet stream is going to be up and over top of that, kind of like this as we go into the day on Friday. So that's what we call a ring of fire pattern, folks. And that's what we see as we go actually into early August as well. But we're not going to go that far on the live stream, but even into tomorrow. And that's going to have a tendency to any of these storms that actually go, that develop up in this region here into the Twin Cities, western Wisconsin, maybe southwest Wisconsin as we go in towards portions of your Friday morning. We'll try to move more southeast here on the instability gradient. There's going to be a lot of strong instability in this area here developing. And just to the northeast of that, that's where the storms will be. And they're going to ride that instability gradient down from Minneapolis to Chicago as we go into Friday morning. Now, will they be severe? Possibly some stronger storms in this vicinity as we go into your Friday morning. We're talking 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. We'll wait and see on that. Not likely a widespread severe weather outbreak, but possibly a couple of storms producing some damaging winds and hail. And as we go into your Friday time frame, real quick here, we're going to go deeper into Friday. This is 4 in the morning. And then here we go. That complex, at least on this model, has it reaching parts of northern Illinois, especially northeast Illinois into southern Wisconsin. So Madison over to Milwaukee, the northern suburbs of Chicago, Rockford, Illinois, down here as well, Dubuque, Iowa. Those will be the areas of concern as we go into about 10 a.m. This is mid-morning on your Friday. So we'll see what happens here. Another loosely organized MCS, and this will be going that way towards portions of Chicago. So, and this most likely will be a weakening trend as well. So these storms will be if they are strong, they may sustain themselves. Got a lot of heat energy out there, but they will likely weaken with the day as it goes on. And into the afternoon, you notice how these storms kind of just fall apart as they move further south. But they could actually reinvigorate down here toward Indianapolis. If the NAM 3KM model is verifies, we could have some stronger storms in the Indianapolis vicinity at 6 p.m. on Friday. Then the attention turns back northwest. What happens? It's a domino effect, folks. What happens in between these rounds of storms here, behind this round here, and then we have another round trying to develop there with a cold front? Do we have sunshine in this vicinity as we go through the day on Friday? It's very possible, it's not likely. There's going to be a little bit of a cap on the atmosphere across this region, but the Storm Prediction Center, and I'm going to go to the outlook for Friday, has actually upgraded already to 2 days out to a slight risk already here across portions of the Midwest. So we're going to have to keep an eye on Friday now. So if you live into the Midwest from Sioux Falls to Sioux City, north of Des Moines, getting through Waterloo, Iowa, Iowa City, Cedar Rapids, and kind of zooming it in here, the Dubuque area, Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin, up to La Crosse, Madison, Milwaukee, Kenosha, and then northern Illinois locales of Joliet, Naperville, Aurora, Chicago, Rockford, and then Davenport, Iowa, Clinton, Iowa, those areas, and maybe as far south as the just north of the Peoria region toward I-80. Those will be the areas at highest concern for severe weather on Friday. Now, I actually do think this will expand in coverage and intensity. So this slight risk is small for now. I actually am seeing signs that this could get a little bit wider, probably something like this as we go into the day on Friday. And if that did occur, I could see an enhanced risk upgrade somewhere in this vicinity as we go into Friday. So that is something to keep an eye on. We could have an upgrade of an enhanced risk in that zone somewhere of like how I drew it. So basically, honestly, what I'm saying is where that slight risk is now, basically, will probably likely be replaced with an enhanced risk, a level 3 out of 5, once we get into Friday morning. So whether that happens on tomorrow's outlook, that'll come out at 1 a.m. Central Time, or it'll come out at noon, 12:30 time frame tomorrow. They'll update twice from the Storm Prediction Center, but it should be in a similar area to where the slight risk is now. That upgrade to an enhanced is possible. I think it's really possible going into Friday. So that's what I see. And in this second round could be potent, folks. I'm actually seeing some instability values in excess of 4,000 joules per kilogram. So that's extreme. If you guys remember, the derecho in Iowa of August 10th, 2020 was 4,500 joules per kilogram instability there. And I'm not calling this a derecho by any means because I don't really think that we're talking about a derecho Friday, but there certainly is going to be an MCS attempting at least to develop up here in this region. And then it's going to have a tendency to, actually, let me draw that in a different color so you can see it. Up in this region here, we're going to watch for development Friday afternoon and evening, okay? These storms up here where I just circled would be the ones to watch initially for very large hail, probably up to 2 inches in diameter. So we're talking up to hen egg size. And then we're also talking about some isolated tornadoes because there'll be those isolated supercells. We'll have enough wind shear up here. We could be talking about a couple tornadoes. Probably not strong tornadoes, but up to EF2 strength is a possibility. And then as these drop to the south and east, they're going to grow upscale into what we call a squall line or an MCS, which is also another, an MCS can be a derecho, could be a squall line, any quasi-linear convective system, anything like that. It's going to likely develop into an MCS known as a squall line and be moving southeast through this area. And I think this most intense storms will probably be somewhere in this vicinity as we go into the day on Friday. So if you live anywhere I just circled there this time, that's where I think the areas will be seeing the most intense storms as we go through Friday evening and into Friday night as of what I'm seeing with the data right now. So that's what I see. All right, let's look at the chat here. I haven't looked at the chat in quite a while, so I was giving you guys a lot of updates here on the severe weather. So let's see here what's going on here. Let me scroll up here. A lot of people chatting with me today. Kathy P gives me a thumbs up. Thank you so much. We already got it in south central Wisconsin this morning. Yes, some storms there. It's all pushing east to you. this afternoon. Is that opening the MCV near Kalamazoo? Yes, that is the vortex there. The vorticity is strongest there in western portions of lower Michigan. And that will be a focal point for development later this afternoon. And any outflow boundaries that develop from that could be producing some severe weather. How's August looking for severe weather? I can't speak for August right now. Only I could speak for August in my mainstream video, which is on Weather on the Go. So go check that out if you haven't watched my main video, Weather on the Go. I post those videos mostly every day as well, just like I do here. So I just cover the north central states here. I can't cover everywhere in the United States on this channel. That's why I started this channel, because I'm doing north central states. The other channel is the entire United States, southern Canada, and the tropics. So if you want any more information on that, go to Weather on the Go to find that out on my video today. Lag Breaker says, is it over for southern Wisconsin? Yes, for today it is. Tomorrow there could be some stronger storms overnight into southern Wisconsin, centered around the Madison area up there towards the La Crosse region. And then as we go into Friday, Friday's looking like the more substantial day for severe weather across southern Wisconsin into northern Illinois. That Bo Echo was trying to get all of Chicago earlier, but only got northern Cook County. Yes, absolutely. There was some stronger winds earlier today, but it did start to fizzle out a little bit and then kind of reinvigorated as it pushed across Lake Michigan into southwestern lower Michigan and far northern Indiana. Looks like an overnight event for tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow looks like more of a late day event because the cap holds strong. Think of a cap as a lid on a boiling pot of water and you don't let the steam out. That's basically what we have during the day tomorrow. But then that cap starts to break once we see the cooler air come in with that cold front Thursday night and into early Friday morning. And it's a domino effect. Whatever happens Thursday night, if we do not see and here's the two scenarios that I'm actually starting to see in some of the models. If we see that complex on Thursday night develop up here and progress further to the south, there's two things that could happen with this. This will help us for Friday's system to not be as strong with lingering cloud cover and suppressing the temperatures down. It'll still be warm, but it will probably not be as hot or humid as we see on currently forecasted for Friday if that does occur. Now, on the other side of things, if this doesn't develop if this area up here doesn't develop with an MCS and drop southeast through Friday morning, and we see just isolated storm coverage or no storms, then Friday's severe weather risk could be a little bit more substantial here than in just an enhanced risk. That could actually go up to a moderate risk. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Very low chance of a moderate risk upgrade here for Friday, but I think an enhanced risk is a pretty decent bet. I'm putting it at about a 60% chance, I think, of at least 60% confidence, in my opinion, that an enhanced risk will be introduced either tomorrow or sometime Friday morning for the Friday's event. And then as we go into the other scenario is, like I said, we don't see, so if we see a storm complex up here and it drops to the southeast during the morning on Friday, that could help us out. Or if it drops through and we still get some clearing behind that, that could also hurt us too, because we have more instability to work with. Dew points will be rising and we'll be seeing more significant weather there. So there's a lot of scenarios to keep an eye on for Thursday night into Friday, and Thursday night's forecast is very important for Friday afternoon and evening's forecast. So it's not just what happens Friday during the day. What happens Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, and Thursday night will play a big vital role into what happens on Friday. So that is something to take from that. So that's currently the update that I have on today's live stream. We're going to get to a couple of the severe warnings here that are lingering, and then I think we're going to wrap it up. I just wanted to go live to talk about these severe weather hazards. We're going to be doing more of these live streams in the future, talking about severe weather before they happen. So you may see my live stream up again maybe tomorrow or on Friday for sure. So make sure to like it down below with the thumbs up and all that stuff. Much appreciated. So let's get back to the radar here and take off this outlook and look at the latest warnings we have. We have some warnings down here into portions of Michigan. Actually, a tornado warning has just been issued. I do believe I saw it there. Let me refresh this. All right, I'm going to refresh this real quick. Where am I going here? Weather alerts. And there it is. Okay, so yes, we have a tornado warning just south and east of Lansing, between Lansing and Ann Arbor. This is radar indicated tornado warning for southeastern Ingham County and south central Michigan till 3 o'clock Eastern Time. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Leslie or 9 miles southeast of Mason, Michigan, moving east at 25 miles per hour. It's just a radar indicated rotation there. It's going to be in the Stockbridge, Michigan area around 2:55 Eastern. So you got about 15 minutes in that region and we'll have a potential for a tornado. So make sure you stay safe from this storm. Put as many walls between you and the outdoors as possible. If you live in Fitchburg, Dansville, and Bunker Hill in Michigan, make sure to take cover from this storm. Whether or not it's a tornado on the ground or radar indicated, we want to take all tornado warnings seriously here. Further to the south, we do have a bow echo moving through portions of southeastern lower Michigan toward Ann Arbor. So you can see that backward C shape actually a couple times here. That's continuing to press toward Toledo and also Ann Arbor and Detroit. So we're going to be watching that over the next few hours. Again, this is a 1-2 punch today. There'll be more severe weather behind this as we go into the day toward the day's end here. So Ann Arbor, you're currently under a severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-per-hour winds. Also the same thing just to the west-northwest of Toledo, 60-mile-per-hour winds and some small hail with this. This could get upgraded to 70 miles per hour if the leading edge of this starts to pick up some steam as it moves to the east here. This is a nice looking Boeing signature, and this looks to go between Detroit and Toledo there toward Lake Erie. So we're going to watch that as well. All right, let's go up here to the tornado warning and make sure nothing's happening too crazy up here. Let's look at the velocity signature. Yeah, the rotation is right there just to the south and east of Lansing. We can see the reds and greens going, you know, coming together there. It's pretty broad, though, I will say. It's pretty broad right now. So let's kind of look at the latest trends from this real quick to see what's happening. And we just saw it. So it's just starting to develop. This is moving up here toward Genoa Township and Handy Township here into Michigan. So make sure to take cover in those areas. And this is, again, between Ann Arbor and Lansing. Basically right in the middle there between Lansing and Ann Arbor, Michigan. And that's currently what we see across those areas, all right? So, and I'm not seeing your, let me look at the correlation coefficient just to make sure there's nothing happening here as well, because we always want to look at that. And currently, I do not see anything that screams that a tornado is on the ground. So that's some good news there. And then we got another warning back to the west. That is a severe thunderstorm warning here, just west of Grand Rapids, with a storm moving off the coastline there of the eastern portions of Lake Michigan toward Holland. This is also for 60-mile-per-hour winds and less than 1-inch hail. And just remember, there is a severe thunderstorm watch for much of central and southern lower Michigan, extreme northern and northeastern Indiana, and northern Ohio, including the Cleveland, Toledo region, until about, let's see here, when's that expire? That expires at 7 o'clock here this evening, Eastern Time. So we have the next several hours there. So make sure to watch out for that. Also 4 p.m. Eastern Time when that expires up there in south central Michigan. So that's what we see with that severe thunderstorm watch. And I do think there'll probably be more watch boxes added later on today across those areas. Yeah, I went over Friday's threat for severe weather, but yeah, it looks like damaging winds, large hail, the main threat. Tornadoes are still possible, but thanks for the update. I'm in Oregon, Illinois. Wow, you're about 15 minutes away from me. After midnight is when thunderstorms will likely occur. Absolutely. That's into Thursday night, though. Okay, so that's Thursday night. The storms here today will be after midnight. You can kind of see the start of it up here. This activity up here is going to move more this way as we go through the afternoon. This stuff here is moving this way. So we're going to see two different directions of storms today. This into southeastern Michigan is going to move east, and then this into southeastern Wisconsin, over Lake Michigan now into far western lower Michigan. That's going to start to drop more southeast as we go in toward the afternoon and evening here. So All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining. That was your live severe weather coverage, just breaking down what you can expect over the next few days. Hope everybody stays safe out there. Again, if you have a severe thunderstorm warning, tornado warning, no matter what it is, whether it's a radar indicated rotation for tornado warning or a tornado warning that has a tornado on the ground, please, please, please heed all the warnings outside. Okay, so if you have even just 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail today across southern Great Lakes region, the Ohio Valley, move indoors, stay away from windows, and if you have to, go to the basement and lowermost interior room of your home, and it definitely helps. So make sure to stay safe out there and just be smart about this, all right? This severe weather threat will go by today. We have more coming up. We live in the Midwest. We live in the Great Lakes and Ohio Valley. We know how to treat severe weather. Just be smart about this, and we'll get through the next few days together here, all right? Have a great rest of your Wednesday, everybody. Go watch my videos on this channel and Weather on the Go and share them on social media with Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I appreciate that as well, and I hope everybody has a great rest of their Wednesday. Goodbye, everybody.